members of the weirdness. This is Anthony A-Log Legato live at the New York Comic-Con, Day 4, and I'm here with a representative of the upcoming 2D fighting game Skullgirls. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Peter Bartholow. I'm a community manager and designer at Reverge Labs.
Alright, so can you tell us a little bit more about Skullgirls?
Skullgirls, obviously a new 2D fighter, like you said. Lead designer is Mike Z, who's a tournament fighter, and basically, he kind of wanted to take the core of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and build on it and turn it into a competitive experience. Basically make a game that's as fun as Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but actually tournament worthy.
Right, and basically, can you tell us about the artist behind it, Alex Ahad?
Yeah, Alex Ahad is the creative director of the game. He's known as 08 on the internet and has a pretty big DeviantArt following. He's a professionally trained animator and artist, and has done a lot of comics and stuff like that. He created the characters. He's been working on them for going on 10 years now, and since he was in high school, and yeah.
So basically, this is the longest development time for a fighting game ever.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, one guy drawing characters is a little bit different than development, but yeah.
Right. You were originally planned for a late 2011 release, but you decided on a 2012 release. How so?
Basically, we just needed a little extra time. We've been adding a lot of features to the game, based on taking it around to conventions and things and getting fan feedback. And, all that stuff adds up, and it just, pushed us back a little bit. So, it's early 2012 now, but, when we say early 2012, we mean early.
Somewhere around January or February, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, early 2012.
Right. Can you tell us about the story of this game?
The story is that it takes place in a fantasy world. There's an artifact called the Skull Heart, and every 7 years or so, it grants a wish to a young woman. And but if their heart isn't pure, it twists their wish and turns them into a monster known as the Skullgirl. It has kind of an ironic sensibility. So if you wish for peace, and for a war to end, it will turn you into a monster that all the sides in the war have to defeat in order, if they're going to survive. Thus, kind of bringing about peace, but not in the way you really intended.
Right. And Skullgirls has a lot of interesting characters. Can you tell me about each of them, like Philia?
Philia's a Rushdown character. She's got a parasite named Samson on her head. She doesn't have any memories anymore. So she's really good at combos, and doesn't have a lot of special moves, but she's a really good, combo sort of character.
Right. And Cerebella?
Cerebella's a grappler. Mike Z is known for playing grapplers like Zangief and Tager and Potemkin, and so he kind of wanted to design the ultimate grappler, and just based on fan feedback, it seems like he's succeeded. She's really versatile and flexible, and has a lot of awesome command throws at her disposal.
Right, and of course the character many of the members of the Weirdness are looking forward to, Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock, she was inspired by 1940s cartoon characters. She's kind of a super weapon created by the Anti-Skullgirl Labs to defeat the Skullgirl. A lot of her moves are really funny. Pretty much every one of her animations is a little joke or reference in it, and she's personally my favorite character at the moment.
As well as mine. Is it safe to assume that she's a humanoid cartoon?
What? I mean, yes, sure.
If you know, Humanoid Typhoon from, Trigun, the reference, it's a little parody.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I don't know if that was his inspiration or not.
Okay, next character, Ms. Fortune.
Ms. Fortune, I guess she's kind of a zombie cat girl. She's got a pretty grim backstory. She was hired to steal a life gem from the mob, and she swallowed it and then apparently ended up digesting it, and it suffused her body. The Mafia caught up to her, chopped her up, threw her to the bottom of the ocean along with her friends in the Fishbone Gang, but she survived it because of the life gem, and so now she's literally falling apart at the seams. She can stretch herself. She's got a lot of hilarious but kind of gross attacks, and she can remove her head and use it to attack you from both sides and control it independently.
Right, and as I can see, she's basically, playing with herself. Like, in the background, I can see she's playing with her head in her victory pose.
Yeah.
And Parasol?
Parasol's the princess of the Canopy Kingdom. Her mom was actually a Skullgirl, so she really wants to get it and destroy it. She plays kind of similarly to Guile. She's got a long range, so she's kind of a poker, and she has some projectiles as well. She can also call on her troops, the Black Egrets, to help her out. So, like, for example, one of them is like a bodyguard who will jump in front of her and take any bullets that might be coming towards her.
Right, and screaming, "No!"
Yeah.
And of course, the recently announced character Painwheel, appropriate because it's October and Halloween is coming up.
Yeah, Painwheel, we haven't shown her yet, but I mean, we could say that she's kind of a aerial dominance character. She might play a little like Sentinel, but she's kind of more of a Silent Hill monster kind of thing rather than the other sort of character types we have. So while Misfortune is kind of funny gross, she's going to be sort of brutal gross.
Right, and since Painwheel is a part of the Anti-Skullgirls labs, would she be considered Peacock's cousin?
Yes and no. There are actually multiple Anti-Skullgirls labs. Peacock comes from Lab 8, and Painwheel comes from Lab 0, which is kind of like the rogue lab.
I see. And of course, I can see basically you got a lot of talented animators helping you out. One of them I know that I'm an acquaintance with is Kerber, Chris Niosi. How did you get your animators to help you guys out on this?
I mean, we basically just put out a pretty wide net. Tried to get all the best animators we could. Basically anybody online or anywhere can take our animation test, and if they pass it, they will, we'll throw them some work.
Right. So basically, we have base 6 characters and 6 characters down, 2 more to go. But what about the bosses?
We're not ready to talk about that stuff yet.
All right. My lips are sealed. So anything else? I'm just basically trying to figure out how far will the popularity go for Skullgirls, in your opinion?
I really don't know. I mean, we're a small indie studio. We're making very much the game we want to make. We haven't really thought about it in terms of marketing and demographics. That's up to, Autumn Games and stuff like that. But, I mean, we think it's going to be pretty successful. We've had a pretty amazing turnout at New York Comic Con. There's been a line the entire time, and, we thought it would be shorter today on Sunday, and it's actually longer than it's ever been. So, I don't know if it's word of mouth or there are just more people here or what, but we've been pretty overwhelmed by the response.
Well, if you think about it, this is one of the more creative games to come out anywhere. Too bad it's not on a console. Why is it download only? I'm curious to know.
Well, I mean, it is download only, but it's on consoles. It's coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 as a downloadable game. We'll probably be doing a PC release a little bit later too, but really, download is a pretty cool space because you can, get the game in front of a lot of people, and especially for a fighting game, which you play online, it makes sense to sell it online. That also lets us do a lot of things that they're afraid to do with disc-based games, like, say, offer free updates and balance patches and things like that. That, for a Capcom game, for example, if they have a broken game, you might have to wait a year and buy the Super Skullgirls or whatever, but we're not going to be doing that. We'll just, patch it in.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll just see Skullgirls 2 and no Super Skullgirls 2 or Super Skullgirls 2 Turbo Edition.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we don't really know what the future is going to bring. We're just trying to get the game done. There will be DLC characters, and we'll probably release DLC characters as long as our publisher, is paying us to make them. But, yeah.
Right, and I also just want to let you know, as of before my Halloween shows, of course, Peacock's stage music, the Anti-Skullgirls Labs, is currently the 8th most requested song on the Whacked Out 40, my countdown show for A-Log on the airwaves. So, you think you basically wanted to say number 8, or do you want it to go higher for you guys?
I don't know. It seems pretty awesome for, a track from a random video game. It's not even out yet, so... I mean, obviously higher would be better, but that's pretty cool.
Right. We always love a little piece of creativity around here. And I see Philia just tearing at her hair, her timeout loss. yeah, basically like the funniest timeout poses, win poses, lose poses ever. Especially when Peacock explodes for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, our animators are really creative and awesome, and they're really just trying to, put personality in every single frame.
Right. So basically, when will the two out of the 6 characters? We basically have 2 more characters to go. When will we hear the next one?
I'd imagine we'll probably reveal the next one either later this month or early next month.
Probably Halloween.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, we haven't thought that far ahead. We're all just trying to finish the game right now.
I know, but just think ahead. Anyway, this is Anthony A-Log Legato here with Peter Bartholomew. And of course, once again, when will we see Skullgirls come or drop out? I'm sorry, drop in.
Early 2012.
Right. So my fellow members of the Weirdness, get this game on your PS3 or your Xbox 360. Don't worry about downloading a virus, because this is virus-free.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not aware of any viruses on the PlayStation Network or Xbox 360, so I think you should be safe.
Right, especially with the whole hacker incident.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thank you. I would like to thank you for this interview, and I hope you stay weird.
Thanks a lot.
And of course, one more thing. Meet the Fat Man.
We actually changed that line. He's now Lenny.
I know, but I just felt like saying it.
Okay.